Sri Swami Sadatmanandaji, Resident Acharya of Arshya Vidya Gurukulam, Anakatti, Coimbatore. Sri Ram Madhav, National General Secretary, BJP, Member Board of Governors, India Foundation. Distinguished guests, I am able to find a lot of VIPs in this crowd, so I am not naming anybody. So I welcome each one of you for this Swami Dayananda Saraswati's memorial first lecture. We, the committee of hosts, have decided that every year we will call an intellectual or a person of status to request him to deliver a lecture here for the benefit of the public. I'm sure you would have all seen yesterday the English channel television. Our Prime Minister at Houston, a towering and roaring personality, and his actions and reactions, and the crowd, how they were chanting the name Modi, 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 Modi. It is something the entire America was vibrating, and it was accepted by the President of US, Trump. We are very fortunate to have a Prime Minister like that. And this gentleman, our learned speaker, is from the school of our Prime Minister. So, all of you would have seen this man. I need not introduce him. You will see him once he comes on the dais. You know him because he is very commonly known in every household of India. He is none other than our Ram Madhavji. He has selected a beautiful subject. I don't know whether he selected or our Harikiran Vadalmani has chosen the subject. This is Transcending Dualities in Search of Oneness. Yesterday, even Prime Minister, he was talking about oneness. He was talking about so many languages are there, so many culture is there. Every state has got a different type of food. Dresses and all these things. In spite of all these things, we are one. He was repeatedly telling that. Sir Ram Madhavji, in spite of your busy schedule, I know you are not only a national personality, you are a global personality. And in spite of it, you could find time to come here to honor us and to give your lecture today. And we are very fortunate to have this Indic Academy. Indic Academy, most of the people in Coimbatore may know and may not be knowing. And he is, the person behind it is Ravi Kiran. We have to thank Ravi Kiran Hari Kiran, slip of my tongue, Hari Kiran. So he is instrumental in, and he was the brain behind in having this first lecture on Dayananda Saraswati ji. He is basically from Hyderabad, and he has got a trust called Indic Academy, and that seeks to preserve, protect and promote Indian civilizations, values, culture and heritage through its multivarious networks and activities. Thank you very much. We salute you for having come here and joined with the host of committees. We have got the host of committees, quite a few people. They are all Coimbatorians. It is their duty to celebrate and to have the lectures on Swami Dayananda Saraswati. In fact, we are all fortunate that Swami Dayananda Saraswati, he lived in Coimbatore, and we are fortunate that when he lived, we lived in Coimbatore. We could see him very often. And there are many functions, he has attended. He loves our culture, he loves music. The children who sang, most of the songs are composed by Swamiji. He knows music, he knows Sanskrit, he knows, Vedas. And he is, great person. I have no, words to say that. I am too small to say that. But we are fortunate we lived when he lived in Coimbatore, and we have seen him in flesh and blood. And thanks to the organizing committee, I am not reading their names because they are all part of they are the hosts. They are hosts. And at this juncture, I request Hari Kiran to welcome and garland Swamiji from Anakati, Satmanandaji. I request him to accept our garland. Thank you, sir. And may I request Vanita Mohan to honor and recognize Sri Ram Madhavji. I may request Tushar Kikani to honor Hari Kiran from Indic Academy. Mr. Hari Kiran, can I have you? Yeah. Thank you very much. And we have got a lot of students here from various schools and colleges. I am very happy because most of the lectures and most of the places, I find in the audience, more people of my age than younger generation. I want younger generation who are the citizens of India tomorrow's Indian citizens, to know about what is happening in the other part of the country and what is oneness. Please watch carefully. Please don't meddle with your cell phones. May I request in the meantime all of you to put the cell phone in the silent mode. Thank you for cooperating.
Sri Guru Namaha. At the outset, I'd like to thank Swami Sadatmananji for gracing the occasion, blessing this event, and being the advisor for this event. Thank you very much, sir. I also would like to thank all the members of the Committee of Hosts, my Raki sister Swati, and all the dignitaries, the who is who of Coimbatore, for readily agreeing to this proposition that Puja Swamiji Dayananda Saraswati's memory should be perpetuated. It's already perpetuated in multiple forms, but it should be perpetuated through a memorial lecture. I also would like to thank my Indica Coimbatore team, very, very active team that my Tamuru Pramod has assembled along with the others. Thank you very much. On this stage, you have two panels on either side with the words Bharat Ke Liye. You might be wondering, what is that? Suddenly two quotes as Bharat Ke Liye. Now, one of the things about Puja Swamiji is that he was known as a patriot saint, a nationalist saint. You could see that in the last bhajan, it was about Bharat. And if you see the trajectory of his life, you would see the Millennium Summit, wherein he argued for mutual respect, the kind of work that he did with proselytization, against proselytization, the kind of work that he did with assembling multiple acharyas from all over, different sampradayas from all over Hindu Dharma Acharya Mahasabha, which he constituted. If you look at his work in the temples, and the case is in the Supreme Court right now, but if you look at that and how the temples are important, but if you look at the trajectory, he was a saint who was focused on the integrity of the nation, of preserving the culture of this nation. So that was the extra thing about him. So when I met him first in the year 2010, this was because of a conference on non-dualism that I wanted to attend, which was being held in California. And I saw that in the schedule, there was no Shankar Bhagavan mentioned anywhere. So this is a conference on non-dualism and there's no mention of Shankar Bhagavan. That sort of troubled me a bit. And that's when in November of that year, I set up this academy called Advaita Academy to focus on teaching Advaita Vedanta. And then I discovered, as I was recruiting or asking teachers, I discovered this whole concept called Neo-Advaita, there is no need for teaching, Neo-Vedanta. There are all kinds of new kinds of Satsang Vedanta, Advaita. So all kinds of teachers I came across. And I also came across a lot of teachers who were not even ready to acknowledge or use the word Advaita. And so they were sort of cut their connection and they were teaching the same our own wisdom without even a thank you. And then I discovered the need and discovered that in India, traditional teaching in a structured way, in a systematic way, was first initiated in Sandipani with Swami Chinmayanandaji and Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati. That is how this whole program was conceptualized. Till that time, Vedanta was taught in a Gruha Gurukula, but he was sort of created this syllabus that you have to learn Sanskritam, Prakarana Granthas, Bhashyam, all that in a very, very systematic way in a 3-year format. And that's when I was introduced to him, and then I realized that if we have to do it, there is a need for this kind of programs, and what is happening, whether it's in Sandipani or in Anekati, is not enough given the global demand for our wisdom. And therefore, I had approached him with a 4 Gurukula problem, saying that, look, Shankar Bhagavan has set up 4 Gurukulas. You are teaching in 4 places, in Nagpur, Rishikesh, Anaikatti, and Pennsylvania. I also want to facilitate setting up another 4 Gurukulas. Please help me. So he was, he brushed me aside, and, he was laughing, and for a couple of years, I was just pestering him whenever I came to India and Anaikatti. I was always pestering him. So my 50th birthday, I celebrated with him. I said, look, I want to celebrate the 50th birthday. So this was in 2013. I spent the whole day with him in the Dakshinamurti's temple. We did the homam. And then he was thanking me, saying that thank you for choosing to spend this day with me. So sort of that day, he sort of melted down, and then I kept asking him about this, wanting to do this, because I'm looking as an entrepreneur scale, and I'm saying, look, population, global population, the need for Vedanta, the need for spirituality is so high, and we're not really matching it. And if you don't match it, then you'll have people who will distort it, who will take away the connection between our dharma, and then they'll do all that. So this thing was going on, and 2014, thanks to Ram Madhavji's invite to him to the Ideas Conclave in Goa, I met him again, and I said, Swamiji, before 1 year, I am going to assure you. He sort of relented, then he said, look at the land and all that. I saw some land in Bangalore, then in Tirupati. He liked Tirupati, the idea of Tirupati. He said, that's when that's also, before Anaikatti, I was also examining Tirupati. So I said, within 1 year, I will make you do the Bhumi Puja. This is my, I was very irreverent with him. It was very, sort of a loving irreverence, and he used to indulge me. So I said, we'll do unfortunately, 2015, this very same day, he attained Mahasamadhi. He was flown from the US, again thanks to the help of Ram Madhavji and all the team. And I met him on 19th for taking his blessings in Rishikesh. And then, of course, there were a stream of visitors. So I just got my 30 seconds with him. So I was sort of desperate. And I said, Swamiji, please bless me, please bless me. I want to do this. And then he said, you must work hard. And the last words that he spoke to me, Bharat ke liye. So that was his last words to me. That was his blessings to me. And till date, whatever that Indic Academy that we're doing is in that direction, to preserve, protect, and promote our heritage, our dharma. Today, I spoke to my Swami Atma Prakashan, and I told her about this function. And he was always wanting me to do something in London with her. So we're trying to take a place and, do some kind of activity. So I told her that, Swamini, today we must start the journey of the 4 Gurukulas with London. And she said yes, she gave me blessings. So I'm very happy to announce that Indic Academy Swami Dayananda Trust is going to be established in London, and we will start an annual 3-year course there. And today I seek his blessings as I announce this. Incidentally, in 95, he had a vision, and he wanted to create something called Ashram International, something model on Rotary Club. This is what Swami was telling me, something model on Rotary Club. He created, people can meet, but it's a spiritual club. It's not a club like a service club, but it's a spiritual club. And incidentally, I realized this today, that Indic Academy has become like Ashram International that was envisaged by Swamiji. Today we have 30 chapters all over the world. So it's an international organization. We regularly meet. We have more than 350 meetings in the last 3 years. We have given grants. So we are a combination of a grant-giving organization, a TEDx, a Rotary Club, a university, a Gurukulam, an incubator. So we're doing multiple things, and this Indic Academy also in a way is his thought which is flowing through and manifesting itself. And the way that Indic Academy is growing in the last 4 years, we're just tapping into the Bharatiya consciousness. It's a latent consciousness that is there, and that growth is happening. And what you saw last night, my friend was referring to what you saw last night in terms of Houston and what happened there. I was there in Singapore, and what happens is that when you're outside and you're seeing a leader represent, he's a manifestation, he's a personification of the Bharatiya consciousness. What Modi ji is there today, yesterday when people saw, the connection that they're seeing is not a political leader, but they're seeing him as a manifestation of Bharat Mata, Bharatiya consciousness. And that is what we are tapping into. That's what Indic Academy is tapping into. And today I'm telling you, as we're working on a center for soft power with Ramadhav ji, our time has come. We are going to be the Vishwa Gurus. As you can see yesterday, we are going to be the Vishwa Gurus in our lifetime, here and now. Here and now. Nagpur is the epicenter of the renaissance of Hindu Dharma. For me, Coimbatore is the epicenter for a global renaissance of Indic civilization. And I thank all the members of, all the community members in Coimbatore who have been supporting our activities. I must also tell you 2 more things that Pujya Swamiji's thoughts flow through me. 2012 I had asked him that in Pennsylvania, let's do a conference on non-dualism because they are doing all kinds of things. Let's do a traditional one. And he said yes. And unfortunately we could not do it at that time. But today we have organized, Indic Academy is organizing the first conference on Advaita Vedanta, on oneness, in Velinad, with Chinmaya Vishwavidyapith, and 72 speakers have come. We have issued a call for papers, and 72 speakers have come. So this is something which is extraordinary, because I tried to check the back, and really there are not many. There's no specific conference for Advaita. Lastly, another thing is that we have taken up a task to install 108 vigrahas, Shankar Bhagavan's vigrahas all over the world. People are doing 108 feet, but then I said, look, let's do something different. Let's do 108 all over the world. The first one was installed in Tirunelveli, Pujya Swamiji's Sishya Jai Shankar. We have installed it there. 2 more, one more has been installed in Smriti Adinarayan and Adinarayan's here near Palani. 1 more is coming up in Salem. We now have requests, now the word has gone out, we now have requests for more than 20 from all over the world, and most of them are from Pujya Swamiji's lineage. I want to, people ask me, what has got a politician got to do with a talk, like a memorial talk? Well, he is currently a politician, but he is a spiritual politician, first and foremost. I'll read out a few lines about him. Ram Madhav is an Indian politician, writer, and a journalist. He is currently serving as the National General Secretary of Bharatiya Janata Party. He's also been a former member of the National Executive of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. He's a member, Board of Governors of India Foundation, a premier think tank based in Delhi. Mr. Madhav has also authored several books in English and Telugu, with his latest one being Uneasy Neighbors, India and China After 50 Years of War. Madhav was born in Amlapuram in the East Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. Primarily a student of engineering, he earned his diploma in electrical engineering from Andhra Pradesh. He has a postgraduate degree in political science from University of Mysore, Karnataka. Madhav's association with Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh began as a teenager. He volunteered to be a full-time worker of RSS in 1981 and was assigned to several key positions in the organization. He was the editor of Bharatiya Prajna, a monthly magazine in English published by Prajna Bharati. Now, so this is what, if somebody asks the biodata, but having worked with him for several years now, truly I am so happy that he is the first speaker for this, because I have been sounding him out also, because our connection with Puja Swamiji is that he is very closely and intimately working with Swamiji, and he has mentioned about me to Swamiji, and I work closely with him. So it is indeed a great privilege that he is accepted to be the first speaker. He has done several things within India Foundation over the last 5 years, apart from his political career in terms of how he has protected the Northeast and what he's done in Kashmir and bringing it back into the Bharatiya fold. But as member of India Foundation that he has founded, he has done several initiatives. Indian Ocean Conference, India Ideas Conclave, Dharma Dhamma Conference, Soft Power Conference. So several initiatives he has undertaken, and Dharma Dhamma and Soft Power are directly related to preserving our culture. So he has done an incredible amount of work in trying to preserve, protect, and promote our civilizational thought. He's been kind enough, we did a conference called Indic Thoughts Festival, wherein we were celebrating our civilization. So I take great, immense pride, privilege, pleasure in inviting a mentor to Indic Academy, Sri Ram Madhavji, to please come and give us the first memorial lecture, Puja Swami Dayananda Memorial Lecture.
Of Puja Swami Dayananda Ji. Pranams to Puja Sadatmanand Ji and all the other Acharyas. And my greetings to all the distinguished audience present in this program. Puja Swami Dayananda Ji in his lifetime was the greatest Acharya of Vedanta in the world. We could not find any other Acharya who could come anywhere near Puja Swamiji in terms of his wisdom and knowledge in such a very deep subject like Vedanta. So today, standing before you, attempting to deliver this first Dayananda Memorial Lecture, I was reminded of one saying, "Fools rush in where angels fear to tread." Mr. Hari Kiran tried to justify inviting me. But I know that I have tried to bite something more than probably I can chew. You know, it is about unity, oneness. And speaking about it is a politician, politics divides. The very fundamental characteristic of politics is to divide. And I have to speak about uniting and oneness. But then I can only find solace in this fact that besides being a politician, me or many like me are not just merely politicians. We have been the followers of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya to Narendra Modi today. And we have been the disciples of great acharyas like Pujya Swami Chinmayananda ji, Pujya Swami Dayananda ji to the second chief of RSS, Sri Guruji Golwalkar. We are committed to the idea of unity. Although we work in an area whose inherent quality or characteristic or temperament is to divide, out of those superficially appearing differences, divides, we are here to create a unified, strong, on this very important topic for some time. Essentially, probably I am placing before you, if I am placing before you any valuable ideas, please take it that these ideas have been collected by me sitting at the lotus feet of these great acharyas. There is no need to mention that. If you find anything irreverent or not very useful, take it as my own ignorance. Don't attribute it to any acharya, please. Swami Dayananda Saraswati ji, or for that matter Swami Chinmayananda ji, who was one of the inspirational gurus for Dayananda ji, they were not just saints alone. That doesn't mean being a saint is not important or not significant. All saints are great. You know, it is said that you don't find a child and a guru who cannot be loved. Every child is lovable. You don't come across an ugly child and you don't come across an ugly guru. All acharyas, all saints are beautiful, reverential. But there will be some like Swami Dayananda ji, who can be called, if I were to use any specific phrase for them, I call them Rashtra Rishis. Rashtra Rishi is a saint whose whole sadhana, whose whole adhyatma is for building the nation, building the generation, building the epoch. They are not just content with teaching some disciples about certain hoary cultural religious values. For them, building the entire nation becomes the end objective of their sadhana, of their meditation. They are Rashtra Rishis. Dayananda ji was one such a Rashtra Rishi. He dedicated his life to teaching Vedanta. He produced innumerable number of good teachers, good acharyas. But then he also worked very hard in building this Rashtra, this nation. I'm using the word nation, not country. Country is a very contemporary idea. Country is geographical. Country probably can be part political. Rashtra, nation, is socio-spiritual, socio-civilizational, socio-cultural. Swamiji had dedicated his life to this mission also, besides the mission of teaching his students. I remember Swamiji telling us how, he was, when he narrated that, he was really thrilled to narrate that one fact that when he went to give lectures in Nagpur in mid-60s at the Reshim Bagh grounds, one day he got to know, he was giving discourse for 1 week, one day he got to know that the then chief of RSS, Guruji Golwalkar, came in a car to listen to his discourses. He sat in the car and listened to his discourses. Swamiji would feel thrilled to mention it. Here is a Rashtra Rishi enjoying the happiness of having another Rashtra Rishi coming and listening to him, because both had similar ideas, similar vision about the future of this country. Friends, children are not afraid of anything. A child will just go and catch hold of a snake. He doesn't know that snake is dangerous. But if you try to tell him, it is dangerous, he will be more keen to catch it. Because he is curious, he wants to know what is the danger all about. And saints are fearless. And we have seen saints like Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Vivekananda, the Rashtra Rishis, who were fearless in their vision. For them, the larger good of the nation mattered, nothing else. What all Swamiji did in his lifetime was amazing. Taking on challenges of Semitic religions so openly, going all the way to United Nations to tell them that first learn to respect plurality, diversity. It needed courage. It needed courage to be politically incorrect. To say that conversion is violence within a closed room may be possible, but make that statement publicly and justify it as a thesis. Today the whole world, the theological world seriously ponders this one statement of Swamiji, that conversion is also a form of violence. Only a saint who had that vision, that conviction, but together with vision and conviction, what is called courage of conviction, could only have done it. And you see such courage of conviction in our Prime Minister today. I am bringing in our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, not for any political reason. There is an important reason for my invoking the name of our Prime Minister. Because I was witness to a history in which Swami Dayananda Ji was a very important part. When it was to be decided that the BJP should project an able leader as Prime Minister of this country, looking at the kind of challenges this country was facing, not just political challenges, politics come and go, governments come and go. But the challenges were much larger. It was a question of nation's self-identity, which was at stake. What will happen to this dharma? What will happen to this dharma prana samaj? In fact, Swami Dayananda used to repeatedly say, you say that we will protect dharma. But Swamiji used to say, what do you mean by protect dharma? Protecting dharmi is protecting dharma. After all, you have to protect this this society, this community which represents or which is the inheritor of that dharma. That was at stake. And there was lot of discussion about who would be able to do that for this country and for this dharma. And I remember Swami Dayananda ji going from leader to convince that only one person can do that, that is Mr. Narendra Modi. Not that he was campaigning for any political leader or political party. He was a drashta. He had that vision. And today he is no more there. So there is no need or no purpose that would be served by my flattery. So please take it, it is a fact that he had that vision that only somebody with this kind of a quality, who is courageous, who has got conviction and who has got courage of conviction, can only lead this country at this juncture. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has had equally strong reverence for Pujya Swamiji. And today look at the Prime Minister. Just now there was a reference to the speech of his at Houston yesterday. It was an hour-long speech. When we speak for 10 minutes, we invoke our own name or organization's name several times. It is important to tell what we are doing. But in 1 hour speech, Prime Minister did not invoke the name of his party even once. He only talked about the nation. He only talked about the people. He only talked about the future of our country. As though he is the leader of not of any political party, but he is the leader of 137 crore Indians, which he is. Plato said in his Republic that we need philosopher kings. Philosopher king, what Plato meant by that was that you need to have rulers who are of a higher philosophical plane, higher spiritual plane, for whom their own mundane interests do not matter. What all matters to them is the welfare and well-being of the kingdom, of the Rajya, of the people. This is what he meant by philosopher kings. Somebody who has that kind of heart, sensitivity for the nation, for the people, who is willing to take strong measures in the larger interest of the nation. That is what a philosopher king meant. All kings cannot be philosophers. Kings have their own mundane compulsions. I remember Chanakya also proposed that king should not have any personal choices. In fact, it so happens that Chandragupta Maurya was a married man, but Chanakya insists that Chandragupta should marry the daughter of Seleucus. Chandragupta says, but I am a married man. Chanakya says, king has no choice. Kings cannot have their own choices. That is what a philosopher king means. And fortunately for us, in Prime Minister Modi, you see a leader for whom nothing personal matters. What only matters for him is the well-being and progress of this nation. That is the reason why I referred to the relationship between Pujya Swami Dayananda ji and the Honorable Prime Minister. Look at this decision about Article 370. I remember innumerable conversations we used to have with Swami Dayananda ji about what should be done in Kashmir. Today it was removed. Even our own hardcore supporters, even our own party members used to believe that it is something very difficult to go. But the reality is, a festering wound of 72 years has been amputated in 72 hours. Because, you know, people, my own party people sometimes ask me, so we used to think that it is such a difficult task. It's not easy to remove Article 370. But it was done in such an easy manner. If it was so easy, why did it take 72 years? Why could it have been done before? Why couldn't it have been removed in the previous regimes? I used to tell them only one thing. Look, it did not take 72 years. It took one Modi. A visionary who understands what national unity, national integrity is all about. That is the kind of leadership we have, and I would attribute the decision to bring that leadership forward, if not fully, partly to Pujya Swami Dayananda ji also. That is why I said he was a Rashtra Rishi. He had a vision about this nation. He dedicated his whole life to this dharma and this dharmi. You know, today we have to talk about this whole issue of oneness amidst the duality or diversity that we see. Muhammad Iqbal, in his famous song, Sare Jahan Se Acha, which probably many of you would have read or learnt in your school days, he raises a very important question in that song. यूनान मिश्र रोमा सब मिट गए जहां पे कुछ बात है कि हस्ती मिटती नहीं हमारी. Yunan, the ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, ancient kingdoms of Persia, they all have vanished. What you see as Rome today has nothing to do with ancient Rome. Same is the case with today's Iran. It has nothing to do with Persia. Those ancient civilizations do not exist today. They have disappeared. But Iqbal says, कुछ बात है कि हस्ती मिटती नहीं हमारी. This civilization of ours, there is something in it that it doesn't go, it doesn't vanish. What is that something? That something is the innate oneness of this nation. This nation is diverse, like any other nation. Innumerable diversities you find in this nation. For any naked eye, it's only diversity and diversity. But still, there is one innate, strong thread of unity in this country. It is that unity which keeps this nation alive, surviving so many big onslaughts on it. Friends, had it been any other country or culture which faced the subjugation for 1,000 years by foreign religions, foreign civilizations, no question of its survival. but we survived. Because there is one important institution in this country, the institution of Guru, the Guru Parampara, which is the secret of our eternity. Probably Muhammad Iqbal could not understand, could not visualize it. But we know that we have the living Guru tradition. The tradition of living Gurus doesn't have, no other religion in the world has it. We have it. The living Gurus who teach this nation to worship that innate oneness. In Taoism, there is an interesting story. Chiang was a carpenter. He makes wonderful woodworks. One day the king saw his woodwork and greatly impressed by it, and he asked him, where has this skill come from? How could you make such an excellent artifact? Chiang says, you see, when I shut myself off for 3 days and start looking inwards, I start forgetting that I will get a compliment from you, the prince. When I travel further inwards for 5 days, I forget that probably I will get an award from some institution, from authority. And I will go further 7 days inwards, I forget about my own body. Then I actually enter in my mind space, enter the forest. When I see the tree, I already see the artifact in the tree. All that I do is I only trim it. This inward journey, departure from all sorts of moha, all sorts of attractions, the inward unity is first thing that our acharyas teach us to practice. Unity doesn't begin only at the outer world. Begin it from within. Because the diversity that you see outside, there was a reference to Adi Shankara by Sri Hari Kiran. Adi Shankara said that Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. After all, whatever is reality is all divine. Or the other way, the divine is the only reality. Everything else is an illusion. Mithya. Is it really? Doesn't it exist? Doesn't diversity exist? What Adi Shankara said was that outward appearing diversity is not a mithya, it is a reality. It is there. You cannot wish away that diversity. But in your mind space, do you feel that innate oneness or not? The mithya is in our minds. This has to be overcome. And this has to be overcome without anything in return, without expecting anything in return. As a politician, I feel that Mr. Modi should have at least mentioned that BJP is responsible for my rise, I feel. But no, for Modi, no. You know, revered acharyas are sitting in front of me. People come for moksha. In fact, Swami Dayanand used to say this. even this urge for moksha. Sir, I don't want anything. I just want moksha. I am ready to discard everything. But even in the discarding, you have a moha that you want moksha. That's what Swamiji used to say. There is no moksha outside your life. It is here, in front of you in this life, that your moksha is there. No, but there is something called Paramananda. There is a state of Paramananda. I have to reach there. Tell me how I can do that. Can you teach me some meditation by which I can reach there? You will tell him, okay, do for 20 minutes every day you do that pranayam. Every 5 minutes you will just open the eye and see how far have I gone near that moksha. That's why in fact Buddha did not accept the philosophy of we Hindus or Hindu scholars have proposed Paramananda as moksha. He said no, moksha is not Paramananda. Moksha is dukkha rahitya. Where there is no sorrow, that is moksha. So Buddha's philosophy was dukkha nirod. Don't call it moksha, call it dukkha nirod. The emancipation. So that message that we are here to take this message to the world. This is the philosophy for which this country has to live. When Arnold Toynbee said it, that every chapter in the human history which had a European beginning has to have an Indian ending. What did he mean by that? That this profound message of oneness, where you only strive for the happiness of all others, and for that the basis, the foundation for that, again going back to Puja Swamiji, is our dharma's singular conviction and contribution of the omnipresence of divinity. You all know, you are Swamiji's disciples, most of you are here. He used to say that these Semitic religions have this belief that there is God. For them he is formless. Formless, but he. This also, Swamiji used to highlight this distinction. You say formless, but you know his gender. It is he. Leave it. It is their problem, not our problem. So the claim of the Semitic religions used to be that, you see, we have one God, but you Hindus have many gods. So you are polytheists, we are monotheists. Swamiji used to say, you are monotheists, understood, you have one God. But we are not polytheists, you have one God, we have only God. Whatever is there is Ishvara. Whatever is there is divinity. This one message, I tell you, I have got a good friend in America who is a practicing Hindu, who is a Christian, but he became a practicing Hindu. You will nowadays come across so many such people in the world. One day I asked him, what is the motivation for you to become a practicing Hindu? He told me a story which he heard from his guru. Because there are some students here, I thought, let me lighten the atmosphere. So one day, Pope came to India. Vajpayee ji invited him, he came. You remember last time he came was when Vajpayee ji invited him. Before he came to India, our Swami, these days our Swamis are globetrotters. So one of our Swamis went and met him in his place in Rome, in Vatican. When he met him, he he found a very interesting looking telephone on his table, lal rang wala, red color telephone. Swamiji asked him, sir, what is this telephone? It is looking something different. Pope said, this is my hotline to God. Whenever I had a problem, I will just dial up, God comes on the line, and I will take his advice and do whatever is needed for my religion. And you know, Pope Sahib has so many problems, right from pedophilia to so many things. He has to consult God on a regular basis, probably every day. But Swamiji was so surprised. In our country, for you to have that so-called conversation with God, you need to do penance for 10 days, 10 years, 15 years, tapascharya karna padta hai. And there is no guarantee that God will come. First he will send Rambha and then Orosi, then he will test you, then finally if he comes it is good. But here you just dial up, he will come. So Pope said, you are not believing, no? Dial up. So Swamiji dialed up, God really came online. No, for a Swami, suddenly God comes in front of him. What does the Swami want? 2-3 minutes ka idhar udhar ki baat ho gayi. Prabhuji, how are you? All is well. Lot of snowfall. Parvati ji is okay, healthy. No jalabu and all that. No cold and all that. 2-3 minutes here and there was normal conversation. Swamiji put the phone down and Pope asked, now you believe? Swamiji said, it's unimaginable in my country. So when Swamiji was about to leave, Pope Sahib gave the bill. For a 3-minute conversation, some $3,000. Poor Swami did not realize that it was such a mehenga affair, costly affair. But since he already used the phone, he paid up and came back. So several years have passed. This time when Pope came, he remembered the Swami who came to meet him and inquired about him. The Swami was sitting somewhere in Rishikesh. So Pope Sahib went to meet him. When Pope Sahib went to meet the Swamiji, he found a lal rang wala telephone in Swamiji's scooty also. So he asked, Swamiji, you also have it? Swamiji said, yes, Pope Sahib. Ever since, this communications revolution happened, when Pramod Mahajan became the telecommunication minister, everybody has a mobile phone. In every meeting, one standard, announcement is, please put your phones on silent mode or switch off. Everybody has a phone in his pocket. I have this hotline. Pope was very happy. Pope had actually left Vatican some 10 days back, and he had accumulated so many problems in 10 days. He urgently needed a conversation with God, so he got the line. He asked Swamiji, can I? Swamiji said, all right, go ahead, make a call. This man called up, God came on the line, so many problems. So went on talking with God, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 ghanta baat kiya. 1 hour he spoke with God. Put on the phone. Swamiji asked, Swamiji, how is the telephone? It was all right. Pope said, wonderful. It is as if we are talking to each other directly. It was so clear, line was. I never realized that India has progressed so much. Thank you very much. Now tell me, what is the bill? Swamiji said, sir, in India we don't take money from the guests. Don't worry, we will take care of that. Pope said, no, how can it be? When you just came and called up for 3 minutes, I charged you $3,000. Now I spoke for 1 hour. Tell me, whatever is the bill, behind me is America, behind me is England. Any bill I will give you, don't worry. After a lot of pressure, Swamiji said, all right, give me 20 rupees. Pope thought Swamiji is giving a discount. Swamiji said, no, I am not giving any discount. In India, talking to God is a local call. ₹1 for 3 minutes, 20 rupees for 1 hour. Because for us, God is everywhere. This one message of innate oneness based on the belief that everything is divine. Everything is Ishvara. Is the profound message that India has to offer to the world. There will be diversities in the world. We are not against any diversity. We are worshippers of pluralism. but we are practitioners of the innate oneness of the mankind. This is the profound message that this nation has to give to the world. But before it gives it out to the world, it has to practice it. So the nation called Bharat is surviving for this one purpose. Swami Vivekananda used to say, every nation has a destiny to fulfill, duty to perform, mission to accomplish. What is that mission? What is the destiny? This is the destiny or mission of this land. Carry this message of oneness at all levels. Not just at the level of God, but all levels. The way we look at the nature, Prakriti, we see it as a form of divinity. When our government undertook a number of infrastructure projects, some of them were given to companies from Taiwan, other countries. One Taiwanese official one day came to me with a very peculiar experience. He said, you see, we were given this 400-kilometer road to be built. We hired the local laborers. We needed to cut off some trees on the sides because we needed to expand the road. But this labor, every day, before they start their work, would go and do a puja, literally a worship to the tree before they cut it. He said, sir, I cannot understand what are they doing. They have to cut it. Why are they worshipping it? But how do you explain to him that they are doing it as a prayaschitta? They are saying to the tree, please forgive me, I am committing a sin today. I will face it because I am compelled to do it. This is our approach to environment, Prakriti, Paryavaran. That is why Prime Minister has undertaken a major lead in protecting, preserving the environment in the world today. Global climate leadership is today in the hands of India and in the hands of Prime Minister Modi. No better country can be there to lead the globe in this global climate preservation. We believe, because we attach that spiritual significance, that every river reaches the same end. Every river is sacred for us. Remember, all these things are not necessarily because of any great training or education. It is the core of India, core, the very essence. I can give you my own experience. You go to a village, a remotest village in Uttar Pradesh. Go to the poorest family in that village, probably living in a hut. Go to the oldest lady in that hut. Obviously, she will be an uneducated lady, illiterate. Look at her morning prayer. In the morning when she prays, before the sun god, before Surya Bhagavan, what is that prayer? Sarvepi sukhinas santu, Ganga Maya ki jai, Gomata ki jai, and the prayer ends with Lok Kalyan ho. It's not about her family, it is not about her poverty, it's not about her mohalla, her village, it is about Lok Kalyan. Let the whole world be happy. This is real Bharat. This is what is the innate oneness in our culture, in our civilization. We may be different, but what binds us together, this one idea that everything is Ishvara and we have to serve everything, animate and inanimate alike. Yes, we worship, from the viewpoint of a Westerner, a Christian or a Muslim, we are worshipping stones. But Swami Dayananda Chokrali used to say, no, we don't worship stones. We worship the divine in a forum. And he used to jokingly ask, what is it that you worship in a church? If the cross in a church is not an idol, you should be prostrating before every telephone pole. Because every telephone pole is like this. But that is not your cross. Similarly, it is not our stone. It is Ishvara. Because we don't believe that only animate world need to be protected. Animate, inanimate, everything together is Ishvara. So that unity is the message of this country, which needed to be given to the outside world. In fact, this friend of mine, the Christian who became a practicing Hindu, he one day told me only this, sir, don't try to teach any big Vedanta to our Westerners. Just somehow convince them that everything is sacred. That addresses all the conflicts. Make them believe that everything is sacred. So friends, we in politics, you in social life, are our revered acharyas in the spiritual life. We all are the worshippers of this innate oneness that pervades all the existing creation. We are not against diversity. We are not against diversity in languages. We respect Tamil as much as we respect Hindi. In fact, our constitution clearly says all the 18 languages in the country enjoy the status of national languages. But in Tamil or in Hindi, do not utter something that hurts the feelings, sentiments, or innate unity of this country. We are worshippers of that unity, that message. We are in politics today, no doubt. Politics inherently demands some certain things from us. But take it from me that we are in politics also only for that one great objective for which great Swamis like Pujya Chenmayanandaji, Pujya Dayanandaji, many such Swamis have dedicated their lives, continue to dedicate their lives, and that is in this visible diversity, we need to find an innate emotional unity and oneness. And let me conclude by saying that the question asked by Muhammad Iqbal in that song Sare Jahan Se Acha, Kuch baat hai ki hasti mitdi nahi hamari, there is something because of which this civilization survives, that something is this global mission, which we in our normal parlance call as Krunvanto Vishwamaryam, let us ennoble the entire world. My pranams to all of you.